This is like a really different kind of song that I would usually write, which is good. This is why we do these things. Flowers, the sun and her flowers. Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today, we are going to be turning Rupi Kaur poetry into a song. A lot of songwriters say that poetry is great for inspiration for lyrics. So today we're going to be putting that theory to the test. Rupi Kaur is known for her simplistic yet powerful poetry. It's all centered around identity, immigration, femininity. We're going to be using this book, The Sun and Her Flowers. Now this book is structured into 5 chapters, all of them reflecting the life cycle of a flower. So I thought this would be cool to use this concept in our song. This book actually is Laura's, and she got it in an order from Urban Outfitters. And one day I just picked it up and started reading it, and I was like, wow, this is cool. It's incredibly simple, but it kind of really hits home. So we'll see what kind of song we can create. This is different. Doing different things is how we challenge ourselves creatively to make things that we wouldn't have otherwise. So the way this video is going to work is we're going to read through some of this poetry. We're going to write down the lines that we think sound like good lyrics, and then we're going to structure them into a song. We're going to build some music around them, and then at the end of the video I will record it all, put some production to it, and there'll be a song for you to listen to. Now, this book being centered around 5 chapters reflecting the life cycle of a flower, titled Wilting, Falling, Rooting, Rising and Blooming. I think this could be cool to change up the way we structure this song by using these 5 chapters. So maybe there will be 5 different elements to the structure of this song. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going with this at the moment. This is just an idea I had this morning and I'm trying it out right now. So let's start reading some poetry and writing it down. The Sun and Her Flowers is the name of the book, so maybe this is where we should start as either the kind of chorus line or maybe even just the name of the song. The Sun and Her Flowers could be the hook, I'm not sure. But I'm going to write that down as the first lyric. So first lyric, The Sun and Her Flowers, down. So wilting is our first chapter. So maybe I'll just put that down. Let's find some compelling poetry. These are all like fairly centered around love and mental health and different things. So this could be like a really heartfelt, emotional song. On the last day of love, my heart cracked inside my body. Heart cracked inside my body. Heart cracked. My heart cracked inside my body. That sounds cool. I spent the entire night casting spells to bring you back. Casting spells. I like that. I'm just gonna write casting spells. I don't want to be using too much of the poem because otherwise I'm just plagiarizing the poem. But little bits and pieces, that's all we need. I reached for my last bouquet of flowers, now wilting in their vase. I'm just going to write the last bouquet of flowers and now wilting in their vase. I'm guessing we're still going to have to piece things together to make things rhyme, but in terms of lyrics that make sense, this should be an easy one because these are poems all centered around a subject. I drew every curtain in the house. Don't know about this. I'm only going to write things that kind of stand out to me. Some of these poems are deep, man. A dozen different thoughts. That's cool. Sun becomes moon and moon becomes sun. That's cool. Over and over and over again. We've had that lyric before on another video. I'm going to have to write it down then. The rain tried to imitate my hands. The rain tried to imitate. What we left behind that breaks me. What we could have built had we stayed. Just what we left behind, what we could have built is cool. So everything I've written down so far makes absolutely no sense when you put it together. That's good though. That means that we've got to move it around, chop and change. The bricks will grow tired of waiting and crumble. I live for that first second in the morning. I can resonate with that. I love the morning. It starts all over again. I envy the winds. I like that. I could be anything in the world. That's a cool lyric. That's like uplifting. Okay, I don't want to go too much more into wilting because there's still so much of this book to go, so I'm just gonna like fast forward a million pages. There is a list of questions I want to ask but never will. That's cool. Maybe one more line for wilting. Oh, some of these poems are rad. I tried to find it, but there was no answer. Rise, said the moon, and the new day came. That goes with some of the other things we've got in here. Okay, that'll do for wilting. Let's move on to the next. Falling. I still have no idea how I'm going to structure this song with using these chapters. The sun fell to the ground and rolled away. We've got the moon and the sun a few times here. There were no songs sung for it. I could not find the ballads. Where are the albums, I thought. Where are the albums, I thought is cool because it's very relevant to what's going on in the music industry. Some of this poetry is very heavy. Searched everywhere for a miracle. That's a cool line. This is a good poem. The irony of loneliness is we all feel it at the same time. I'll write that down. Got a fair few lines already. We have been dying since we got here and forgot to enjoy the view. That's awesome! You do not just wake up and become the butterfly. Nothing in this world was promised or belonged to you anyway. There's some heavy words in here. What is stronger than the human heart? I woke up thinking the work was done when there is no end point. Okay. Stop looking up at everything you don't have and look around at everything you do. This is the recipe of life. That's cool. Let's write that down. That's enough for falling. Let's do this next chapter. Rooting. You are an open wound. The earth cried to the moon. These are all lines from different poems, by the way. I'm not just reading the poems. My life is anything short of a miracle. My God is not waiting inside a church. I kind of like that as a lyric. Sometimes words and lines just sound like they're going to be cool. Like if you heard them in someone else's song, you'd be like, that's a good lyric. I think you are a magician. Random lines. Just loads of random lines. What if there isn't enough time? That sets up a story. I want to go back in time. The one whose life I never think of before mine. Witnessing a miracle. The one whose life I never think of before mine. I want to go back in time. Okay, one more line from Rooting. Let's just turn to a random page and see what happens. How is that for art? Whew, okay. Okay, we're on Rising. You wrapped me in the word special. Never feel guilty for starting again. The earth has waited its whole life for this. Woo! Why am I always running in circles? Why am I always running in circles? If you're a fan of my old band, you'll know that that's a lyric I've already written. 20 years from now. Saying the words out loud. One thing I've learned from doing these kind of songwriting challenges from quotes and books and other things is to write down a few lines that are quite generic so they can be linked to other lines. When I get angry and when one of us is dying. So just to give you an example of what's going on here, like I'm reading the poem and the line said, when I get angry, but then I also took the line, and when one of us is dying. So that's kind of how I'm doing this. So much empty space wanting to be consumed. The moon is responsible. I am still water and you are the moon. Together we are an endless conversation. That's cool. That's it for Rising. Maybe one more. I learned everything is temporary. That can be the last one for this. Okay, let's do the last chapter. Blooming. The universe took its time on you. I will no longer compare my path to others. This is like her chapter where she's like feeling better, I think. Like the whole book is a mental health journey. So this song could do the same, you know, start sort of detrimental and then like recover. Many tried but failed to catch me. Everywhere and nowhere, I am a world wrapped in worlds, folded in sun and moons. I am a world wrapped in worlds. That's cool. I am of the earth. Life and death are old friends. That's cool. I still have no idea how this is going to be turned into a song. Oh man. I am the conversation between them. Maybe I should have a go at writing poetry. This is like This is nice to read. You are a magnet for the light. This song's going to have the best lyrics I've ever written. Trust your body, it reacts to right and wrong better than your mind does. I like that. When death arrives, let it be a celebration. Dang, this is getting heavy. I made change after change on the road to perfection. What if there is no finish line? I'm gonna stop it there. What if there is no finish line? That's an excellent line to end the song. Okay, so I have so much here, probably a bit too much, and we're gonna try and structure this into a song. I have no idea how. But I'm gonna get the guitar, and I'm gonna figure it out. Okay, so this song's feeling kind of emotional. These words are deep and meaningful. I think the song needs to be called or based around this whole the sun and her flowers. So that to me is like the hook line. I've had a thought about how I could make these 5 words signifying each chapter structure the song. So the chorus could be one of the words and then kind of resolve into the sun and her flowers. So the words are wilting, falling, rooting, rising and blooming. They all sound similar and are phonetically the same, so we can replace each one. So if we were to write a chorus that said something about wilting, then we can exchange it. The next time we sing the chorus, we could exchange the word wilting for rooting or whatever it comes. The other thing is to make it super emotional, I'm going to take influence from The Story So Far, who have a song called Navy Blue, which is in a weird tuning. So I've tuned my guitar to that tuning. It makes me well up, like it's proper emotional. So I could manipulate their guitar riff and change it into my own, so that could be cool. Wilting, falling, the sun and her flowers, the sun and her flowers. Okay, so there's a start. Oh, this is going to be a sad one. Alright, let's think of a chorus. Chorus first. What could we use? So we've got the wilting, rooting, the sun and our flowers, the sun and our flowers, falling, rising, the sun and our flowers, the sun and our flowers. So maybe if we grouped them together, wilting and falling, rooting and rising, and then blooming. So I could do, the first chorus could say, wilting, falling, the sun and her flowers, the sun and her flowers. The second part could go rooting, rising, the sun and her flowers, the sun and her flowers. And the very last chorus could say, blooming, the sun and her flowers. Okay, I think that's an idea of a chorus. I don't know whether to sing it an octave low or an octave high yet, but we'll figure it out. Wilting, falling, the sun and her flowers, the sun and her flowers, rooting, rising, the sun and her flowers, the sun and her flowers. And then we want a verse line kind of going over there. So as I said, we're structuring this into 5. We've got this chorus that kind of goes through 4 of those 5, and then the last chorus I'm going to put blooming in there. I'm going to take some lines that I wrote out from the wilting section and the falling section and form the first verse, I think. And then the second verse can be made up of the rooting and the rising section, and maybe the middle 8 is from the blooming section, and then we end on the chorus. So I've kind of got a structure there already. Chorus 1, verse 1, chorus 2, verse 2, middle 8, chorus. Let's start putting some verses together. So obviously in no way, shape or form is this anywhere near what the final product might be, but I've got some ideas for a verse. I've also had an idea, I think in this song, so I've done about 5 of these kind of videos now, and all of them have had like a very punchy chorus, sort of die down in the verse, some kind of build up pre-chorus. So what if this song, we change it up and we make the chorus die down? Maybe make the chorus very naked, very vulnerable, and like strip it right back so it's like just me and the acoustic in the we'll take falling, the sun and our flowers, the sun and our flowers. Here's an idea for the verse, which is very loose at the moment. I've been piecing some words together. So we've got this. This is the recipe of life. You do not just wake up and become the butterfly. That's a nice rhyme. We have been dying since we got here and forgot to enjoy the view. And then maybe a second bit. This is like a really different kind of song that I would usually write, which is good. This is why we do these things. Okay, I think I've got a whole first verse. The first 4 lines come from falling, even though wilting's first, but creative license. And then the second 4 lines come from wilting, even though that comes first usually. Whatever. This is the recipe of life. You do not just wake up and become a butterfly. We have been dying since we got here and forgot to enjoy the view. Very high for me. Rise at the moon and the new day came. I lived for that first second in the morning. Sun becomes moon and moon becomes sun. Over and over and over again. Maybe just over and over again. And then we go into a chorus. This song is high, but maybe if I like really concentrated on singing it when I come to record it, I'll be better. Okay, verse 2, we're taking from rising and rooting, or rooting and rising. This is what I've got. This is, again, phonetically a bit everywhere, but I feel like this song's poetry, so it's fine. Artistic, creative license, man. Never feel guilty for starting again. The earth has waited its whole life for this. Trust your body, it reacts to right along. Better than your mind does. Or I could sing it an octave down. Second half of the second verse. I am the water, you are the moon. Together we are an endless conversation. So much empty space wanting to be consumed by saying the words out loud. I like that because it all makes sense. Picking bits and pieces of someone else's work, forming it into something to call your own. That's creativity. Okay, then we'll do a chorus, which we already know. Now we've got to write a middle eight using the blooming sentences I put down. So let's figure out a middle eight. Okay, I think I've got a middle eight. It kind of wrote itself from the lines I'd already written down. That last chapter, if you remember in this video that you just watched, in Blooming, those lines were really cohesive, so just kind of kept them as they are almost. The universe took its time on you, and I will no longer compare. I am a world wrapped in worlds, and life and death are old friends. And then we could do and I have a conversation. You are a magnet for light. I may change after change on the road to perfection, but what if there is no finish line? And then we could do it. We could go back to the original chorus. We'll take sun and flowers are. then we could go to blooming. I think we wrote a song. Okay. I am going to record this now. I'm going to smash some production on it, see what happens. And the next thing you'll hear is my song, The Sun and Her Flowers, written using Rupi Kaur's poetry from the book of the same name, The Sun and Her Flowers. Enjoy.
This is the recipe of life. You do not just wake up and become a butterfly. And we have been dying since we got here and forgot to enjoy the view. Rise set the moon and a new day came. I live for that first second in the morning. Sun becomes moon, moon becomes sun, over and over again. Wilting, falling, the sun and her flowers, the sun and her flowers are rooting, rising, the sun and her flowers, the sun and her flowers. Never feel guilty for starting again. The earth has waited its whole life for this. Trust your body, it reacts to right and wrong better than your mind does. I am the water and you are the moon. Together we are endless conversation. So much empty space wanting to be consumed by saying the words out loud. Wilting, falling, the sun and her flowers, the sun and her flowers are rooting, rising, the sun and her flowers, the sun and her flowers. The universe took its time on you, and I will no longer compare. I am a world wrapped in worlds, and life and death are old friends. I am the conversation, you are the manifold light. I may change after change on the road to perfection, but what if there is no finish line? Wilting, falling, the sun and her flowers, the sun and her flowers are rooting, rising, the sun and her flowers, the sun and her flowers are wilting.